From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen, and proudly welcoming you to this Thursday's edition of For the People for November the 30th, 2017. It is another month on the calendar gone. And officially now, if you haven't already done so, is to start getting the Christmas stuff out if you put up a tree. I've already got mine, and it's a tradition. Thanksgiving, the day after the tree, the ornaments, all that stuff. You got to make it a family affair. You got to make it a family thing. Some of you, the kids, I know, moved out, and the grandkids got older, so you don't do the whole tree thing, but just for fun, just put it up. I know somebody like, way too much work. No, forget about it. My grandmother, she had it all figured out. She had this little teeny Christmas tree that she used to put on her kitchen bar, and I haven't forgotten it. Lit up. It was cute as could be, plugged in, and it was Christmassy. But it worked. But she was elderly, and she took care of my grandfather, who was elderly, and he was a stroke victim. And she was a loving caregiver for Denny for many, many years. He used to work in Augsburg, New Jersey, and it was a zinc mine, from what I understand from my mother, and that's what he did. But unfortunately, he had a stroke, and it left him pretty much paralyzed. And I know we see him in a chair watching TV or gripping a ball to kind of stress relief or whatever. But anyway, keep it simple but festive at the same time. There's got to be an in-between somewhere. What drives me absolutely crazy talking about the whole Christmas thing is when retailers, even before Thanksgiving, have Christmas stuff going on. I mean, and for sale. The cookies are already out. The lights are all right. I mean, is it not seem like they're broadcasting Christmas, reminding you about Christmas, like way too much? We don't even have the turkey cooked. I mean, what is the deal? Did you see that new report? I saw it on television the other day saying how detrimental Christmas music is for retail workers because they have to listen to this stuff all the time. They're on their feet, they're working, and it stresses them out to no end because all these things that need to be done probably should be done. They're not getting it done because they're there working and hearing about Christmas, and they say it's downright depressing. It actually depresses people to hear the Christmas music, and I can understand it. You're alone, and the Christmas music is playing, and it's a little bit too cheerful, and it's not too happy. I can understand that, so I'm not gonna go there with you. It's tough when you lose a loved one, especially around the holidays, especially if you lost somebody during the holidays. So, anyways, I do wish you well this holiday season, wherever you might be listening. Our hearts are with you. Our prayers are with you. Definitely understand loss. It will be my first Christmas without my mother-in-law. I lost my dad in 95, so that was really tough for many, many years after he died. A lot of people say, when do you get over it? I don't know if you ever get over it, but it took many years because I was really close to my dad. I think it just depends on how close you are. Or when the loved one dies, you realize, wow, I actually loved him more than I thought, and it affected you more. And holidays seem to kind of bring some of those things out here. On a better measure, on a better note, the serial killer, they say without a doubt, has been apprehended, and because a lot of people didn't think that this guy fit the profile of a serial killer here in the Bay Area, and our chief, Brian Dugan, he said he wanted to ensure everyone that this is the man who did this, emphatically. And he's been identified And the killer, Howard Emmanuel. They called him Trey as a nickname. Donaldson III. It's going to be held without bond at the Hillsborough County Jail until another hearing is held next Tuesday. He made his first court appearance this morning on 4 counts of first-degree murder. And a judge ordered that Donaldson be held without bond until a hearing next Tuesday to determine if a no-bond status will remain until his trial. Donaldson made no statements during his court appearance. And they say he wore a colorless, sleeveless, quilted smock that is used to prevent inmates from hurting themselves, prevents the inmate from forming a noose from their garments. So they definitely want this guy to, go to court, be charged and all other stuff. And the chief of police, he wants him dead for what he did. He just said, I have one thing for him, let's kill him. He deserves to die for showing no mercy to the 4 that he killed and for the neighborhoods that he's terrorized. But kind of a big relief because, again, people said, how is this guy? He comes from a middle-class family, and it's found out that his family, reasonably prominent in the black community and business community here in the Bay Area, owns a cosmopolitan, where they do hair and stuff like that, and cosmetics, nails, and all that other stuff, but pretty, to-do people. But it doesn't really sometimes matter exactly who your parents are, but, trying to piece the puzzle together to find out exactly why he was working at a McDonald's. He used to work for his family. Something tells me that some disconnect between them and the family happened. You can't blame the family necessarily for what he went done, but apparently had some mental issues or something apparently just altogether snapped. But anyway, if you know anybody in the Bay Area or lived in Seminole Heights in the area and you were on edge, a lot of my loved ones were calling here saying, how close are you to Seminole Heights? That McDonald's, I actually frequented occasionally. I know it's not a good place to eat all the time. If you get the salad with nothing else on it, just plain salad, it's okay, right? Knew that McDonald's well. Nice one, clean right off the interstate. Real close to where my studios were in Ybor City, so know the area where he was, but this gave him reasonably good access to the Seminole Heights area, really good cover-up. But he worked there for about 2 months, about the timing of when all these murders happened. But with the evidence of the Glock that was taken in with the bag, and again, if you don't know the story about how he got caught, was that he was working at that McDonald's, and he asked one of his coworkers if she would hold on to a bag for him that he put this Glock in, and, not to look, that he would be back because he was going to cash a check at an A.M. Scott, and he came back, but she had returned the bag that was given for her safeguard to watch over to the manager. Manager saw it and said, oh, no, we got to call the police. Well, there was a police officer at the McDonald's that was off duty, apparently. The employee knew that, took the gun to the police officer, and they definitely wanted to question this employee, and he screwed up. So we don't know if he wanted to be turned in or he just got stupid. I was talking to somebody at a drive-through window this morning at a McDonald's at another place in Tampa, in South Tampa, and I said, what do you think about that Seminole Heights guy worked at McDonald's there? And what did she say? She said, well, he said, none of us are perfect, and some of us, make mistakes, and he certainly made a mistake, meaning he got busted because he just, I'm sure the guy was under an enormous amount of stress. I mean, you would think so. And he was one of the most wanted persons, at least in the entire Bay Area, with $100,000 on his head, plus the Columbia restaurant in Ybor City offered $9,000. And so the lady who had the fortitude to bring it to the manager, bring it to the police officer, she's probably going to have that $100,000 plus the $9,000, $109,000 for her being a good citizen. Not a bad deal. So hopefully she does a lot of good with that. I don't know if she'll keep her job there at McDonald's, hopefully pay off some bills And I'm sure she'll be interviewed. I can't imagine her not making it on the national TV scene. But it's not going to be Matt Lauer. He's going to be interviewing on NBC anymore. Oh, my gosh. Since yesterday, since I spoke with you, a bunch more women come out. And the details, oh, my goodness, salacious as can be. Everybody's talking about the button that Matt Lauer had for the door. Nobody got in the door unless he buzzed you in. And so it was calculated. Nobody else at 30 Rock had that button. Matt Lauer had it for years. But, a woman passed out on his desk and was taken advantage of. And just the details are just unbelievable. And I'd have to say this has got to be. He's issued an apology this morning. He says he's sorry. Sorry that he did it. Is it sorry that or sorry that I got caught? Oh, my God. I'm maybe more than anything, hopefully you're sorry that you did this to your family because, it's going to be very hurtful for them and your friends to look at you. They're not going to be able to look at you the same way. I mean, how can they? Definitely not a great legacy for Matt Lauer by any means. Not denying any of the accusations, at least right now. Just saying that he's sorry. Very short and sweet. It's everywhere if you want to see his statement. Nikki Haley, not mincing any words whatsoever, and I really like her being the ambassador to the United Nations. I think she is right there with Donald Trump, right there with James Mattis, just there with the Trump administration. I mean, but very conservative, very thoughtful, and has a strong message to North Korea. And as she stands in front of the world as our ambassador, it says that North Korea's launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, which some observers believe that could reach the eastern United States, brings us closer to a war the U.S. isn't seeking. Nikki Haley, speaking at an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, said that if war comes as a result of further acts of aggression like the latest launch, make no mistake, the North Korean regime will be utterly destroyed. Dictator of North Korea made a decision yesterday that brings us closer to a war, not further from it, Haley said. We have never sought war with North Korea, and still today we do not seek it. What else can you say? What else can you say to a regime that thumbs its nose at the United States, thumbs its nose at China? And here's the really concerning thing with a lot of experts that study the northern reclusive hermit kingdom, whatever you want to call North Korea, is that a lot of the help, and I've mentioned Iran and I have mentioned China, but more help and prowess, they believe, from scientists from Russia, from China, and from Iran, trying to shut that down, because these are the people that are speeding this up to an alarming record that has given them the ability to be able to launch these things faster, higher, more precision. Somebody's doing this, and this is not your average citizen off the street eating grass, okay? He's eating some Swiss cheese with the dear leader. I'm sure he's privy to some Swiss beer, the Canadian beer. Who knows what they're drinking, but they're making very bad ICBM missiles that can reach the mainland of the United States. And like I say, this should definitely be a major concern, and it is a concern for the United Nations and for the United States, and it should be for any civilized society on planet Earth. Donald Trump tweeting that he spoke with the Chinese president, Xi Jinping, about Pyongyang's provocative actions, and that he vowed that additional major sanctions will be imposed on North Korea today. The situation will be handled, Trump's top diplomat Rex Tillerson said. The U.S. could target financial institutions doing business with the North. And at the Emergency Security Council meeting, China's deputy UN ambassador Wu Heishou reiterated that China-Russia proposal for North Korea to suspend